All right, I hope everybody vibrations is raised and we ready to do some learning and we ready to get some of this information. Y'all ready to go? Well, we on Earth now. We ain't on the B-Rule, but y'all ready to get into some As Nibiru turns. Our favorite soap opera and now erotic novel. You know what I'm saying? Ariston, appreciate the love, gang. Appreciate the love. All right, I told y'all a little bit of a soap opera, a little bit of an erotic novel. The greatest story ever told. Okay? Now, that's one thing. Let me say this, too. That's another thing about this Anunnaki story. This is how you know it's real. Because it's literally the greatest story ever. It would be the greatest movie ever made. They couldn't make a movie better than this movie. That's how you know this shit is real. Because if somebody faked this, then they played themselves. If somebody was to fake this Anunnaki story, even though it's not possible, we know all the facts that go with it. But if somebody was to fake this, guys, they would play themselves. Because you literally wrote the greatest script ever. So why waste your time faking it when you can just make the movie? You know what I mean? But this information is true. That's why it's the greatest movie ever. It's the greatest visual, okay? So like I say, man, we have watched these people come from another planet to this earth for a purpose. They told us their purpose on why they came here. They said they needed gold. We had gold. They didn't. Right? We have seen these people come here and set up a business. Right? They have set up an operation to mine gold. We are watching that happen right now. Okay? And so this is like I say, this is the part of the story when you're about to start seeing the other characters come into play. Okay, you got a chance to meet all the kids yesterday. So yesterday you met Enlil's kids and you met Enki's kids. Do y'all remember? Enki got 6 kids. Enlil got 3. Enlil got 3 sons. Enki got 6 sons. Okay? And a lot of this beef is going to come from the sons, okay? One son in particular having a problem with his uncle, and that's going to lead to these ancient wars that were fought in these times. We definitely gonna get there. So yesterday, like I say, you met, I hope we was taking notes. You met Enki's 6 kids, you met Enlil's 3 kids, right? And unfortunately, Enlil started his, he had some daughters too. Unfortunately, they only talk about the daughters of note. See, like the women only get mentioned if they're high ranking. If they're like a high ranking Anunnaki, like Ninhursag, Ninmah, she would get mentioned, but they normally don't mention the daughters unless the daughters marry one of the kings to be or something like that. But yeah, he had some daughters too. He's got some daughters as well. But they didn't mention none of their names. So we were able to see the family structure come into play. One of the things yesterday too that I came across that actually I had to do a little bit of number crunching on was this the year difference, the time difference in the Biru and Earth. Okay, so we've been kind of off. We've been saying that 1 year on the Biru is 3,600 years on Earth. That's wrong. Throw that away. It's a little bit different than that. Okay? We've been saying that 1 year on the Biru is 3,600 years on Earth. That's wrong. That's not how it works. 1 day on the Biru is equal to 1 month on Earth. So that means 1 year on Earth is equal to 12 days on the Biru. Okay? 1 year on Earth is equal, 1 year on Earth is equal to 12 days on the Biru. All right? To give you a bigger understanding, 120 years on the Biru is equal to 3,600 years on the Earth. Okay, so it takes their planet it takes their planet 120 Nibiruan years to cycle its sun. Okay, now when you compare it to Earth, that's 3,600 years on Earth, which is still a staggering amount. It's still crazy, right? 120 years equivalent to 3,600. That's crazy. Okay? So I did that math last night and I was able to figure that out. And it all lined up. It all lined up. Okay? Like I say, man, if y'all want a better understanding of that, go watch the movie Intergalactic when they deal with Miller's Planet, or Google it. Google Intergalactic Miller's Planet, and they'll explain this concept of how when you're dealing with a big planet that orbits its sun slowly, time is going to move at a slower pace. Okay, so if you want to get a closer look on that, check out Interstellar, the movie, and look up Miller's Planet, and you'll get a better understanding on the time dilation. That's what they call that, time dilation. Okay, with no further ado, let's begin. No further ado, let's begin. Three sons in all did Enlil have. None by concubines were they born. Two clans were thus established on earth. Their rivalries to wars did lead. Okay, so those are the two clans that's been explained. You got the Enlil clan, what they call the Enlilites, and you got the Enkites. Okay. Somebody's got this dude, whoever Jesse James is, show this clown the dough. Some clown named Jesse James, some nobody ass person. A flea. Y'all get that Jesse James dude out of here? Get your goof ass out of here. Goofy. I don't know where these folks be coming from. They weird. I don't know what wrong with them people. Like, let me ask you something. Like, how pathetic do your life gotta be? Let me say this. My life, I'm pretty busy, you know what I'm saying? If I'm not on TikTok teaching or just watching videos, I'm definitely not gonna be in nobody live trying to troll it. You know what I'm saying? How pathetic do your life gotta be for you to be putting energy into trolling somebody's live? Like, you absolutely, man, where your wife at? Where your wife at, brother? You ain't got no kids to play with. You ain't got no food to cook. Like, come on, brother. Like, you just, that tells me a lot about your life. That tells me a lot about your life, okay? Now, we trying to be cool. Now, let me make sure people understand this. For all these people in here that's not regular, if you're not a regular, okay, if you're not regularly in this live, if you are not a course member of this live is an exclusive space. It's a private live. It is not open to everyone, okay? So at the end of the day, if you in here, we have rules. Please don't disrupt our live with a bunch of questions in the chat. I'm not here to stop the course to answer your questions. The only questions I answer is from course members. If you're a course member and you got a question, come on in, okay? I prefer that you hold your question to the end of class so I can give you the proper attention. I prefer that you hold it to the end, okay? If you disrupt our course, if you try to ask a bunch of questions, if you try to be indifferent to the information being disseminated, we're just going to remove you from the live. So if you find yourself blocked, then just know that you violated one of our rules, okay? You have no control in this live. This live stream belongs to the host. The host is the operator, okay? So please don't overinflate your importance in this live, because once you do that, we're going to remove you from the live, all right? So with that being said, man, let's get this show on the road, all right? We got the two clans that's been established. We got the Enkite clan and the MELANATED clan. Now, don't forget that Enlil and Enki are brothers. They are not beefing. They don't have beef with each other. But if you got brothers, you know eventually you're going to bump heads with your brother. Okay? And so that's the story of the Anunnaki. It's the brothers, they bumped heads, but then it led to the children getting involved. Okay? Enki's son is going to feel the need to take up for his dad. Okay? And so that's how we're going to get Marduk beefing with Enlil. That's what we're leading to. We're ultimately leading to the battle between Marduk and Enlil. Okay? So, all right. Now, this is the account of the mutiny of the Igigi. Okay? Y'all remember I told y'all about the Igigi yesterday? Y'all remember I told y'all these are the so-called fallen angels? Right? No, we don't like Marduk, Corlisa. You're going to see. We don't like Marduk at all. You're going to see. We definitely don't like him. We don't care for Enlil too much either. We don't care for Enlil. We don't care for Marduk. This was a war, but this was a fight between two people who we don't care for. We like Enki. No, you good, my love. I'm just joking. This your first time in the class, so you're gonna get to know these characters. And when you get to know the characters, you're gonna see why I say we don't like them. But so I was telling y'all about the Igigi, right? And I told y'all these were disgruntled workers. These were not fallen angels. Okay? So I want y'all to pay close attention, and when we get there, I want y'all to tell me, what do you see? Right? When we get there, I want y'all to tell me, what do you see? Do it sound like fallen angels, or do it sound like disgruntled employees? All right, let's get it. From the Abzu, gold from Earth's veins to the landing place was carried. Thence, Igigi and rocket ships to the way station on Mars transported. From the planet Mars in celestial chariots was the precious metal brought to Nibiru. On Nibiru was the gold grinded to the finest dust. To protect the atmosphere, it was employed. So you know the logistics. We go from the landing place to the moon, from the moon to Mars, from Mars to Nibiru, okay? Once they got to Nibiru, they were doing all of the smelting and refinery, okay? So right now, they don't even have the refinery set up on Earth. They're just basically mining the gold and shipping the raw gold back to Nibiru to be smelted and refined. Now, they're going to adjust this. These logistics are going to be adjusted to be more efficient, okay? So at some point, they're going to realize, look, we need to just refine the gold here, and we need to ship the gold back to Nibiru in powder form, okay? So they're going to, and this is what I was telling y'all about the other day, the reason why you know that humans did not have this need for gold, because humans wouldn't have had no ability to refine the gold. So when you talk about how did gold get its value, if you take the Anunnaki out of the picture, explain to me how gold get its value. Now, gold been valuable a long time. Gold been valuable for as long as society been around. How did gold get its value? And if you say jewelry, then you got to ask yourself, how did man get the gold out the ground and refine the gold to make jewelry? That's your problem. That's the problem. How did he get the shit out the ground? Okay? Slowly was the breach in the heavens healing. Slowly was Nibiru being saved. So it's working. In the Eden, the 5 cities were perfected. In the Eden, the 5 cities were protected. Let's One, two, three, four, five. These are the 5 cities. These are the 5 cities. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is mission control. Okay? So these are the 5 cities of Eridu. Enki in Eridu, a sparkling abode made. Upon soil skyward raised, he built it. Upon soil skyward raised, he built it. Like a mountain, he raised it above the ground. In a good place, he built it. This place right here. Damkina, his spouse, dwelt with him. To his son Marduk, Enki was there teaching wisdom. In Nabruki, Enlil, the heaven-born earth established. A sight to see it was. At its center, a heavenward tall pillar, the sky itself was reaching. Yeah. At its center, y'all see that pillar right there? Look at the top, mission control, right? Y'all see that pillar right there in the center of it? Let me read this to y'all again. At its center, a heavenward tall pillar, the sky itself was reaching. Do y'all know what they talking about when they talk about a pillar reaching the sky? Do y'all have any idea what kind of structure that is when they say it's a pillar reaching the sky? At its center, a heavenward tall pillar, the sky itself was reaching. Come on with it. Obelisk. Come on with it, Leandrio. Okay, these are obelisks. Y'all know about the Egyptian obelisk, right? That's exactly what they're talking about. Okay? And when they say heaven bond, they say heaven earth bond, they talking about anything that's built on the earth that reaches into the heavens. So they say that that's a heaven earth bond. Anything that they build that skies into the heavens, that's the heaven earth bond. At its center, a heavenward tall pillar, the sky itself was reaching. On a platform that cannot be overturned, it was placed. There, with the words of Enlil, all settlements encompassed. On Mars and in Nibiru, they were heard. From their beams were raised, the heart of all the lands they could search. The obelisk is a piece of technology. Okay, it scans. It's a scanner. They got a beam in the top of it. And if you go to Washington D.C., they got a light. They got like a red light in the top of the obelisk on Washington D.C. So these obelisks was a piece of technology. They used to scan the land. Okay, let me read it to you one more time. From there, beams were raised, the heart of all the lands they could search. Its eyes could scan all the lands. Its net unwanted approach made impossible. Okay? So this was a weapon. These obelisks could not only scan the lands, if you was coming to do damage, they could use it as a weapon, as a ray gun. How cool is that? How cool is that? The fucking obelisk was a piece of technology, a piece of weaponry. That's wild. In its lofty house, a crown-like chamber was the center. To distant heavens it peered. Toward the horizon was its gaze. The heavenly zenith it perfected. In its dark, hollow chambers, by 12 emblems, was the family of the sun marked. On MEs were the secret formulas of sun, moon, Nibiru, and earth, and 8 celestial gods recorded. Have y'all ever heard of the Dropa plates? The Dropa plates? If y'all ever heard of that, put a 1 in the chat. The Dropa plates. That's what these clay plates that they found, and they had all of these celestial orbits on it. That's what they talking about right here. They talking about the Dropa plates. It says on MEs were the secret formulas of sun, moon, Nibiru, and earth, and the 8 celestial gods recorded. They found these too. Very complex information on a clay plate. The tablets of destiny in the chamber, their hues emitted. The tablets of destiny in the chamber, their hues emitted. The tablets of destiny is a computer program. Yeah, the Dropa plates, Dropa, just like that. Yeah, just Google that and it'll pop up immediately. Dropa stones or Dropa plates. I think it's the Dropa stones. I want to say Dropa stones. When they talk about the tablets of destiny, okay? The tablets of destiny is a computer program. Just imagine them having a mission control center. And these tablets of destiny controls all of the work sites. They control the surveillance. They control the machinery. They control everything that's important. You got to remember that this is a technologically advanced work site, okay? So these tablets of destiny control everything. If you mess with the tablets of destiny, if you was to shut the tablets of destiny down, then all of the work sites was shut down. Okay, it'll be a big mess, all right? So it says, the tablet of destinies in the chamber, their hues emitted. Just let the colorful, it's colorful. With them, Enlil, all comings and goings oversaw. You heard that? So with the tablets of destiny, Enlil was able to oversee all comings and goings. So surveillance, okay? Surveillance. We all understand that, right? On earth, the Anunnaki toiled. Of work and sustenance, they were complaining. On earth, the Anunnaki toiled. Of work and sustenance, they were complaining. Ain't no humans around, guys. Ain't no Homo sapiens around. We don't even exist. We don't exist in this form. That's the beauty about dealing with this. This is why I be telling dudes, if you can't go back to this time period when there was no Homo sapiens around, only the hominids, then you're not teaching from the beginning. So you got to remind yourself, you got to remember this. The Anunnaki will be here mining this gold for 250,000 years before they get to us. They had a whole world. They had their own, man, let me tell y'all something. We can't even fathom 200,000 years of human history, even though human history been around for 200,000 years. They had their own 200,000 year history here before we even came into being. Wrap your mind around it. And for them 200,000 years, guys, they did all of the mining work themselves. Put a 1 in the chat if you understand that. Before the Anunnaki get to the reason for why they needed to genetically alter the Homo erectus, they did all the mining work for 200-some thousand years themselves. Okay, baby, do your thing. All right? So, somebody working their ass off. Okay? I don't care how much technology they got, guys. You still have to do hard work. Okay? So somebody working their ass off. And it sure ain't Enki and Leo. So who you think working their ass off? Who you think working their ass off? If it ain't Enki and Leo, who you think working their ass off in the hot sun? Come on, the heroes, the EGG. Come on with it. Come on with it. But these folks out here telling y'all some dumbass shit, talking about some fallen angels. I swear to God, guys, I wouldn't lie to you, man. All them people dumb, dog. Y'all in here with the best person. Y'all in here with the best person. If you ain't gonna be in here with me, then you can go pay that dude Billy Carson $3,500. And you gonna and listen, I had 3 people join our course from Billy's course. And they say that my course was 10 times better than his. Okay? That was their words, not mine. They words. The tablets of destiny in the chamber emitted hues. With them, Enlil could see all comings and goings. On earth, the Anunnaki toiled. Of work and sustenance, they were complaining. So they tired. They like, hey, man, I'm tired of doing this work. I'm tired of, I ain't getting enough food and y'all working the shit out of me. By Earth's quick cycles, they were disturbed. Of the elixir, they only were given small rations. So y'all remember they had, what's up, Black Lex? Shout out to my brother Black Lex in the building. So y'all remember they was making the wine from the grapes. And they was using that as a medicine. Now I'm sure Ninma was putting a little bit extra in there. You know, she was making the wine. It tastes good. Get you inebriated. But I'm sure she was putting a few extra herbs in there. Okay? So they was doing good with that at first. But now, right? Couldn't have been cognac. That yak. They gonna make that yak later. You remember they gonna make beer? They gonna make beer too. Okay? You gotta remember the Anunnaki is who gave us beer. So shout out to the Anunnaki, man. Shout out to the Anunnaki. Need that beer, brother. We need a cold. So check it out. The EGG. The EGG. So, like I say, they starting to feel like, hey, man, look, this ain't enough for us. This work too hard. And now on top of that, y'all starting to only give us a little bit of the wine. Now y'all only giving us a little wine. This ain't enough. We got to go. Okay? In the Eden, the Anunnaki toiled. In the Abzu, the work was even more backbreaking. So it's one thing to be working in the Eden. See, if you're working in the Eden, it's still cool. You got the water right there. You got the ocean right there. Okay? When you're working in the Eden, you got the ocean right there. You got some fruits and vegetables. But if your ass in the Abzu, woo-wee, down there in that hot African sun, In the Ede and the Anunnaki toiled. In the Abzu, the work was even more backbreaking. By teams were Anunnaki sent back to Nibiru. By teams, new one were arriving. So they trying to fix it by bringing in new workers. They're sending back the old workers and bringing in new workers. Okay. So the guys ain't just complaining. They trying to get some new blood, some fresh blood in there. The Igigi on Mars were the loudest in complaining. The Igigi on Mars were the loudest in complaining. So them niggas up there, they sick of it. Them niggas on Mars like, shit, we finna come down there and wreck shop. When from Mars to Earth they descend, a resting place on Earth they were demanding. With Anu did Enlil and Enki exchange words. The king they consulted. So the Igigi wasn't asking for a lot. They was just asking. They say, hey man, when we come to Earth, we be tired, bro. Let us have somewhere to stay. They ain't have no place built for them where they could rest when they come to Earth. So the Igigi say, man, we up here working our ass off. And then when we come to Earth, y'all got us sleeping outside. Right? I try to look at it from everybody's perspective. I'm not just going to make the Igigi out to be bad guys. Because think about this. We could be in that position. Right? If we feel like, listen, check this out though. If we feel like somebody overworking us, ain't we going to complain about it? Ain't we going to say, hey man, this ain't fair. Hey, you could do better. You could treat me better in this situation. See, a lot of times, man, we be so quick to make these people out to be bad guys. But they was justified in everything that they did. Okay, we gonna see. We gonna see. So Enki and Enlil went to Anu, basically telling Anu, hey man, look, we need some advice. We need some advice with this worker situation. Anu says, let the leader come to Earth. With Anzu, have discussions. So did Anu say to them. So y'all remember Anzu is the commander of the Igigi on Mars. Put a one in the content, put a one in the chat if you remember that. What's up, Miss Kim? Peace and love, my sister. So Anzu, okay, we glitching. Anzu is the commander of the Igigi on Mars. All right? The Igigi on Mars are the loudest in complaining. They say, hey man, every time we come to Earth, it ain't nowhere for us to lay. It ain't nowhere else for us to relax. Okay? What's up, Sunset Lady? Peace and love, my sister. Peace and love. So Enki and Enlil goes to Anu. They go to Dad. They say, Dad, we need your help with this worker situation. Okay? Can you help us out? Dad say, meet with Anzu. Tell Anzu to come to the Earth and y'all have a discussion with him about how y'all can fix this. Okay? So we got Anzu on his way to the Earth to have a meeting with Enki and Enlil. Okay? Now, is this not a business meeting? Is this not a corporation, guys? Ain't this a corporation? This is a corporation. This is a supervisor going to meet with his CEOs to discuss his employees. Is it not? We got a supervisor going to meet with his CEOs of the company to discuss the treatment of his workers. Come on with it, Leandrio. Tell him again. The first union. No, you know what? That's what they should have did, establish a union. But they is the first union because they went to war. So they is. Shout out to them, man. Okay, so I just want y'all to be able to see the true story, man. They have misrepresented this Anunnaki story, guys. The Anunnaki story is an adult story. It's not some mythical, magical creatures. Okay? It's not none of that. It's common sense. Okay? Anzu to earth from the heavens descended. The words of complaints to Enlil and Enki he delivered. Let Anzu of the workings gain understanding, Enki to Enlil was saying. I will show him the Abzu. You show him the bond heaven earth. To the words of Enki, Enlil consented. All right, so Anzu, what they want to do, exactly, I'm trying to tell you, imperatives, connect the dots. Connect the dots. Because we still working for these Anunnaki overlords. That's what I want y'all to know. We still working for the fucking Anunnaki overlords today. I'm going to explain that. The money you make goes all the way to the top. Every dollar you make, you pay taxes. That tax money goes to the government. The government gives that over to this, and it goes into resources, all kind of stuff. At the end of the day, your tax money goes into doing the bidding for the Anunnaki overlords. You still working for them today. That's why I want us to get to a point where we're independent, where we can create an independent society, where we can be dependent upon us. Okay? So we got Anzu coming to the earth, and Enki tells Enlil, hey, let's show Anzu how everything works down here. Okay? Let's give him a tour. Okay? So they're going to give Anzu a tour, talk to him about how everything is working, and hopefully they can come to some agreement about how to fix this problem with the Ijiji. Okay? Give me 1 second, guys. I'll be right back. I'm going to leave y'all with some tunes. But I will be right back. All right? All right, and we back. So Anzu, like I say, Anzu is basically the foreman. Okay? Anzu is the supervisor and foreman. He's basically supposed to be there as a go-between between Anunnaki and the Ijiji. All right, here we go. Enki to Anzu, the Abzu did show. The toil in the mines to him, he presented it. Remember, like I told you, taking him around a tour. Enlil to Nabruki invited Anzu. To the hallowed dark chamber, he let him enter. In the innermost sanctuary, the tablet of destiny to Anzu, he explained. What the Anunnaki in the 5 cities were doing to Anzu, he was showing. Y'all heard that? So he took Anzu into mission control, right? And then he showed him hold on, show Buddy the dope. Buddy in the wrong place, man. Show Buddy. Buddy, this ain't no music class, big dog. Trying to focus on the lesson. He got me here talking about some damn music. Anyway, so he took Anzu into mission control to show him the tablets of destiny. Okay? Listen to its purpose. What the Anunnaki in the 5 cities were doing to Anzu was shown. So he was able to show Anzu what everything that was going on in the 5 cities from this one location. So that's proof that the Tablets of Destiny was a surveillance program, okay, among many other things. It was a surveillance program as well as an operation for the machines. It kept all the machines in power and things of that nature, okay? To the Igigi who at the landing place were arriving, relief he promised. To discuss the complaints of the Igigi, he returned to Nabruki. A prince among the princes was Anzu. Of royal seed, his ancestry he counted. Evil thoughts filled his heart. When to the bond heaven earth he returned. To take away the tablets of destinies, he was scheming. Of the decrees of heaven and earth to take control in his heart, he was planning. So I don't even understand why Anzu would even jump to this mindset. I thought he was cool. All right. You would think he was cool, but little did we know Anzu, had other plans. Anzu is deciding to steal the tablets of destiny. Okay? So they thinking, hey man, buddy gonna come down here. We're gonna have a conversation with him on how to fix the worker situation. Well, this dude coming on some different time. Okay? So Anzu is planning to steal the tablets of destiny, and this is not gonna be good. He wants to remove Enlil from his rulership. In his heart, he conceived to rule the Igigi and Anunnaki. So he had a secret motive. So all that time on Mars, my boy been up there planning to take over, right? We can't see what was going on Mars. We just know that they was up there, right? But wrap your mind around this. The whole time the Igigi and Anzu is on Mars, they get mad every day. Every day they get a little bit more angry about something. Some supplies they don't got, some food they don't got. See, Enki and Enlil did some shit. They dropped the ball. Enki and Enlil didn't take care of their workers. They didn't get their workers what they needed. So what happens? Your workers start building up resentment. Your workers start planning to strike and to be unproductive, right? So as a result of not taking care of them, they sat up on Mars and created and conceived this strategy in their head to go on the attack. Okay? He wanted to remove the rulership of Enlil. In his heart, that's what he conceived. In his heart, he conceived to rule Igigi and Anunnaki. That was his aim. This is Anzu. Anzu want to take over. Unsuspecting Enlil at the entrance to the sanctuary, Anzu let be stationed. Unsuspecting Enlil left the sanctuary for a cooling swim, he went away. So Enlil wasn't even thinking that this dude would try this, right? Enlil left the dude in there. Hey man, relax, chill, get you a drink. There's some drinks in the refrigerator, right? I'm about to go take a swim. With evil purpose, did Anzu seize the tablets of destiny. So he just stole the tablets of destiny, gang. In a sky chamber, he flew away. To the mountain of the sky chambers, he swiftly went. There, in the landing place, the rebellious Igigi were waiting for him. So they are full on gang now. Okay? Anzu is the leader, and the Igigi is gang. Igigi is squad. To declare Anzu king of Earth and Mars, they were preparing. In the sanctuary of Nabruki, the brilliance petered out. The humming quieted. Silence in the place prevailed. Suspended were the sacred formulas. Okay, let me explain to y'all what's going on. He stole the tablets of destiny. It caused the entire operation to shut down. Okay, remember the tablets of destiny is powering all the different cities. Okay, everything, it caused everything to shut down. All right. Okay, now when you're running a corporation, if you're running a, say you got an oil company, okay? Your oil company, the employees, the corporation itself, it depends on you being up and running For however long you operate in a day. If it's 15 hours a day, it depends on you being up and running for 15 hours a day. Okay? No company can afford for its power to be down. Because if the power is down, then productivity is down and we're not accomplishing the goal, right? So he has caused the Anunnaki to be in a situation where they're set back because he's stolen these tablets of destiny. In the Bruki, Enlil was speechless. By the treachery, he was overwhelmed. Enlil, like, I can't believe this nigga did this shit. To Enki, angry words he spoke. Of the ancestry of Anzu, he questioned. In the Bruki, the leaders gathered. The Anunnaki who decree fates or Anu were consulting. Basically, Enlil told Enki, who this nigga related to? Right? He can't be family. He ain't our family. You know what I'm saying? So Enlil say, I want to check his lineage. He can't be related to us acting like this. Anzu must be seized. The tablets must be returned to the sanctuary. Thus did Anu decree. Who shall face the rebel? Who shall retrieve the tablets? The leaders asked each other. With the tablets of destiny in his possession, invincible is Anzu to each other, they were saying. Y'all heard that? With the tablets of destiny in his possession, invincible is Anzu to each other, they were saying. The tablets of destiny, they can't see him, right? They was using the surveillance to be able to see where he was at. Without that, they can't see him. They can't see when he coming. They can't see when he about to attack. Okay? Ninurta, by his mother encouraged from the assembled, stepped forward. Enlil's warrior I shall be. Anzu I shall vanquish. Thus was Ninurta saying. So Enlil's son has stepped up. Y'all remember Enlil's firstborn son? The son he got with Ninmah? That's Ninurta, okay? Ninurta is a warrior. He's got that warrior spirit just like his father, okay? He's a very important character. Ninurta is a very important character, and he's tough, okay? Very tough. To the mountainside, Ninurta set his course. To vanquish the fugitive Anzu, he undertook. Anzu, from his hideout, was mocking Ninurta. The tablets are in my protection. Invincible I am. Lightning darts Ninurta at Anzu directed. The arrows could not approach Anzu. Backwards they turned. Check that out. Look at that shit. The tablets of destiny basically allowed him to create a force field. Right? I told y'all this piece of technology, man, it's a heck of a piece of technology. Okay? Whatever computer program this is, it allowed him to create a force field around his spaceship. Okay? And so when the Ninurta was shooting missiles at him, the missiles were being turned around. Returning around. Let me read that one more time. Lightning darts Ninurta directed at Anzu. The arrows could not approach Anzu. Backward, they turned. Kind of like that Iron Dome defense system that the United States got. The United States is in Israel is using that Iron Dome defense system. So when Iran shoot missiles, they just turning the missiles right around. Y'all know about the Iron Dome? The battle was stilled. Ninurta's weapons, Anzu did not vanquish. Enki then to Ninurta gave counsel. With your whirlwind, stir up a storm. Let the dust cover Anzu's face. Let it the wings of his skybird ruffle. Okay, so Enki stepped in. Enki stepping in with some advice for his nephew. He said, nephew, come here. I know how to get this nigga. Check this out. So Anzu right now is invisible, okay? He's using the tablets of destiny to cloak his spaceship, okay? He's cloaked. So Ninurta was told by Enki to use his ship to stir up a whirlwind, make up a dust storm. Now, what happens when you create a dust storm on something that's invisible? The dust is going to settle around the craft. Even if it's invisible, the dust is going to settle around the craft, and then you're going to be able to see it. It's going to be visible to you. It's kind of like in the cartoons when somebody's invisible and they throw paint on the invisible person, then all of a sudden you can find them. Okay? So Enki told him to create a dust storm so that the dust storm would help make Anzu visible. For his son Enlil, a mighty weapon was fashioned. A Tilu missile it was. To your stormer weapon attach it. When wing to wing near Anzu, shoot it. Okay, so Enlil gave his son a new kind of missile. Looked like a Scud missile. Thus did Enlil instruct his son. When wing to wing near each other, let the missile fly as a lightning. Again, Ninurta in his whirlwind soared. Anzu against him in his skybird rose to challenge. Wing to wing, Anzu in anger shouted, "This battle will be your destruction." Ninurta heeded the advice of Enki. With his whirlwind, he created a dust storm. The dust covered Anzu's face. The pinions of his skybird were exposed. Got him. In their midst, Ninurta let loose the missile. A fiery brilliance of Anzu's pinions engulfed. So it worked. So he created the dust storm. It caused Ninurta to be able to see the spaceship. Then shot off the missile. Boom. Like butterflies, his wings began to flutter. To the ground, Anzu came falling. The earth shook. The skies became darkened. The fallen Anzu, Ninurta made captive. From him, the tablets he retrieved. From the mountaintop, the Ijiji were watching. They just watched their partner get his ass whooped. When to the landing place Ninurta came, they trembled and kissed his feet. So the Ijiji, after seeing their leader get his ass kicked, when they saw Ninurta, they bowed and kissed his feet. "Oh, master, please have mercy on us, master." Ninurta, the captive Abgail in Anunnaki, set free. To Anu and Enlil his victory he announced. To Nabruki he then returned. In its innermost chamber, the tablets were reinstalled. Once again, the brilliance returned. The hum of MEs in the tablets was restored. Before the seven who judged, Anzu was taken for judgment. Enlil and Ninlil, his spouse, Enki and his spouse Ninki, to the one before known as Damkina, and the sons Nanar and Marduk were there. Ninmah also was in judging. Ninurta of the evil deeds spoke. "There was no justification. Let death be the penalty," he said. The Ijiji by right were complaining. "A rest place on earth they do need," Marduk and Counter argued. So, they say we finna put Anzu to death, okay? But Enki's son stood up and spoke for the Ijiji, okay? So this is Marduk. Marduk stood up and he said, "Hey, Anzu was wrong, but we do need to do better by the Ijiji. They do need a place that they can rest when they come to earth." You dig what I'm saying? So they were right in complaining, but wrong how they handled it. All right? So this is the first revolting. This is the first of, I think they're going to revolt maybe, I want to say another 2 times before they decide, before Enki and Enlil decide, before Enki decides to do the genetic work on the hominid. Okay? So this is the first revolting. By his evil deed, all the Anunnaki and Igigi, Anzu did in danger, Enlil said. Enki and Ninmah with Enlil agreed. The evil must be extinguished, they said. To death by execution, the 7 judged Anzu. With a killing ray, Anzu's life breath was extinguished. Let his body to the vultures be left, Ninurta said. Say that nigga, leave that nigga body for the vultures. Let him on Mars be buried. In a cave next to Alalu be laid to rest, Enki was saying. From the same ancestral seed the 2 of them were. They say Alalu and Anzu come from the same ancestral seed. That's why they act the way they act. Let Marduk carry the body to Mars. Let Marduk as commander stay. Okay? So now, Enki's son Marduk is now the new commander of the Igigi. Okay? So they're going to have Marduk go back to Mars, and he's going to be the new commander on Mars. Let it so be, Enlil said. Now, this is the account of how Bad Tibera, the metal city, was established. And how in the 40th Shar, the Anunnaki in the Abzu mutinied. In the 25th Shar was Anzu judged and executed. So let's do that math right quick. The 25th Shar, it's been 25 Shars. So at this point, the Anunnaki been here about 90,000 years, okay? They came here 450,000 years ago. So we're at about 360,000 BC. If you wanted to know where we at in time. 360,000 BC. They've been here about 90,000 years at this point. Okay? At the time that Anzu was executed. The unrest of the Igigi it subdued, but left it simmering. To Mars, Marduk was sent. The spirits of the Igigi to raise. To their well-being, pay attention. Right? He got to go boost the morale. He's got to go to boost the morale. He got to go make sure they got what they need. This is all corporation stuff. On Earth, changes were discussed by Enki and Enlil. To avoid unrest on Earth, they were considering. The stays on Earth are too prolonged to each other, they were saying. Ninmah for counsel they asked. By her changing visage, they were alarmed. Okay, so let me unpack that right quick. Couple things. So they done decided that they need to make some changes. They done decided that we gotta do something to keep us from losing our workforce. Okay? So they go to Ninmah. They go to Ninmah to ask her advice on what they should do. And then they notice how old she is getting. Okay, remember, we on Earth, so she's aging at a rapid pace. Okay, so they notice that she's getting very old. She's becoming like an old, decrepit woman. You understand? They all getting older. Gold to Nibiru must quickly flow. Salvation must be provided faster. They all agreed. Ninurta in the innards of the planet was learned. To his elders, words of wisdom he was saying. Let a metal city be established. There the gold ores to be smelted and refined. There from less weighty cargoes from earth shall be lofted. So this is another logistics move. So y'all remember I told y'all that they wasn't refining the gold on earth. They were sending the raw gold back to Nibiru and they was refining it on Nibiru. So now they about to build a refinery. Okay? So they decided, hey, let's build a refinery. Let's refine the gold here. And then let's ship it back as dust in powder form. That way the weight will be a lot less and we can make faster trips. Okay? So they're about to build what they call the metal city. Tibera. Bad Tibera. Each rocket ship could carry more gold. Room for Anunnaki to Nibiru there shall be. Let the tired to Nibiru return. Let the fresh ones be replaced on earth. So Enki and Leo said, hey, if you tired, we're going to send you back to Nibiru. We're going to bring some new workers. Okay? Enlil and Enki and Ninmah of Ninurta's suggestion were in favor. Anu also approved. In the Eden was the metal city planned. On the location, Enlil did insist. With materials from Nibiru, it was constructed. With tools from Nibiru, it was equipped. 3 shars the construction lasted. Bad Tibera was its given name. Ninurta, who made the suggestion, was its first commander. The flow of gold to Nibiru was thereby eased and quickened. Those who to Earth and Mars at the beginning of the prior times had come from Nibiru were returning. Alagar and Abgal and Nungal among them were. The newcomers who replaced them were younger and eager. Okay? So all the dudes that's been down here grinding it out, right? If you've been down here for the 90,000 years and you've been grinding it out, we're going to let you go back home to Nibiru. Okay? We're going to bring some fresh new workers. We're going to bring some younger, more eager workers. But this is going to cause a problem. Because the younger, eager workers that they're bringing are lazy as fuck. Guess what? That's a whole new generation. Okay? So imagine this. Imagine having workers from our father's generation. And then them workers getting too old to work, and then you have to bring in some new, younger, fresher workers. And you got to bring in workers from Gen Z. Imagine if you had boomers working for your company, hard-working boomers who going to bust their ass, do the job right, that's going to be on time. And then all of a sudden, you got to switch them out with Gen Z. Motherfuckers going to be complaining all day. Motherfuckers going to be on their phone. You know what I'm saying? So this is the problem they finna run into. This is what's going to cause the second revolt. Because they bringing these little new kids. This is a whole new generation on the Nibiru. Okay? The newcomers who they replaced were younger and eager. To the cycles of Earth and Mars and the other rigors they were not accustomed. On Nibiru, whence they had come, the breach in the atmosphere was healing. Okay? So things is getting better on Nibiru. The great calamities on the planet and its heavens, the younger ones did not know. Of their golden mission, excitement, and adventure, they especially cherished. So they never, let me tell y'all how far, like I told y'all, we 90,000 some years in. I think we 3, 6, 8, I think we're about 100,000. We're about 108,000 years in. They've been gone away from the Nibiru for 108,000 years. Okay, so at this point, these kids, they don't know all the struggles that Nibiru went through because the breach is fixed. They've basically healed the atmosphere with the gold. Okay, now you would think that, okay, we fixed the atmosphere with the gold, we're going to take our ass back home. But once you get addicted to gold, you addicted for life. They're not going back home. They're not going back home. This gold ain't even about the breach no more. The gold is about everything else now. The health benefits, the jewelry, every use that they could get out of this gold, they starting to do that. Okay? So gold is becoming valuable to them. We ain't even in existence yet. We are not even Homo sapiens at this point. Okay? So gold they created the importance for gold. Okay? Here we go. Let's get it. As by Ninurta conceived, the ores from the Abzu were delivered. In Bad Tibera, they were smelted and refined. By rocket ships to Mars, they were sent. In celestial chariots from Mars to Nibiru was the pure gold delivered. It's crazy that I know my way to Nibiru. I swear to God, I could literally take a spaceship to Nibiru. I know how to get there. I got that cosmic map. It's exactly where it's supposed to be. As by Ninurta conceived, from the Abzu to Nibiru, the gold flowed. What was not conceived was unrest by the new coming Anunnaki who in the Abzu toiled. They say they couldn't see it coming. They couldn't see it coming, these new workers. Truth be said, Enki, to what was brewing, was not giving heed. To other matters in the Abzu, he was directing his attention. With that which in the Abzu grows and lives, he was fascinated with. Of the differences between what on Earth and what on Nibiru appeared, he wished to learn. So right now, Enki is enamored with studying the wildlife. Okay? So with all the shit that's going on with the employees, Enki ain't paying no attention. Enki is in his laboratory in South Africa studying the wildlife. He's studying the differences in the animals that's on Earth and the differences in the animals on Nibiru. Okay? How remedies by Earth cycles in atmosphere how sickness by Earth cycles and atmosphere were caused, he wished to uncover. In the Abzu, by the gushing waters, a wondrous study place he erected. In the Abzu, by the gushing waters, a wondrous study place he erected. So I don't know exactly what waterfall they're talking about. They could be talking about Victoria Falls, or they could be just talking about some random waterfall. But Enki built his laboratory next to a waterfall. Okay? That's just what they were saying. He built a laboratory next to a waterfall. With all manner of tools and equipment, he furnished it. House of Life, he called the place. To his son Ningazita, he invited. All right, that's another name to write down. Write that name down. Ningazita. Ningishzidda. Let me write this in the chat so y'all know. This is a very important, probably the most important character. All right, I just put that in the chat. So you want to write that name down? Okay, yeah, for sure, man. Ningazita is Enki, is one of Enki's older sons. Maybe his, let me see, maybe his second born son. This is probably his second born son, okay? Now, Ningazita was born on Earth, guys. Ningazita and Nanar was both born on Earth. You may have heard of Ningazita. That nigga say Marduk is, I hate Marduk. Marduk is the devil, my bro. Marduk is the devil. You ain't know that, Heaven Year? Marduk is Satan. I'm gonna have to get Heaven Year the game. He don't know about Marduk. Yeah, nah, that nigga, I don't know if he was good and evil. Now I know who he is. Marduk is Satan. I don't know about good and evil. What good did he ever do? He finessed the Egyptians. He made a fool out of the Egyptians. He told the Egyptians that they can have the afterlife if they bring him the most gold. Nah, we gonna get there. We'll get there. The real Satan is his son. His son, Seth. Seth was the real Satan, Satan, okay? But Marduk is who embodies the actual character. The Prince of Darkness was Marduk. But we'll get there. That's far down the line. We're gonna talk all about that. Okay? The battle becomes a battle of light and dark. Dark is Marduk, light is Thoth or Ningazita. So Ningazita, you may know him as Thoth the Atlantean. Thoth the Atlantean. Okay? So if you've ever heard that term, that terminology or that name used, Thoth the Atlantean, that is Ningazita. Same person. Thoth is his celestial name. That's the, you know how you get your original name, then you got your celestial name. Thoth is celestial name, okay? So if you want to write Ningazita, aka Thoth, you might want to put it in your notes. All right, but Heaven Year, but you got to understand, Heaven Year, Marduk, I'm gonna explain to you. What race are you, my brother? You a white man or a black man? Heaven Year, you a white man or a black man? Let me ask you that, because I gotta ask you that to explain something to you. Are you a white man or a black man? Black and Latino? Okay. Marduk is responsible for for the people that enslaved you. The same people that enslaved black folks was taught and raised by Marduk. That is where the British royals get their connection to the throne, is through Marduk. Marduk went over to that part of the world and he seeded these European lands and he started these civilizations. So I'm gonna get into that. We're gonna explain, we're gonna get to that part. That's why I don't fuck with Marduk though. Marduk, he helped the pale races overthrow the darker races. So we're gonna get to that though. That's way down the line. I'm gonna show y'all how that works. Yeah, we'll get that. That's way down the line. But so Ningazita is Thoth, okay? So Enki has built his laboratory. Enki built his laboratory in next to the waterfall in the Abzu, and he brought his son to work with him. Okay? So y'all remember I told y'all Enki is a mastermind. Enki is a master scientist. He's a master scientist, he's a master geneticist. Okay? His son has been trained in the same way. His son Ningazita has been trained in the same way, okay? Sacred formulas, tiny MEs, the secrets of life and death possessing, they shaped. The mysteries of living and dying of Earth's creatures they unraveled. They sought to unravel. With some living creatures, Enki was especially enamored. They lived among the tall trees. Their front legs as their hands they were using. In the tall grasses of the steeps, odd creatures were seen. Erect, they seemed to be walking. Okay? You see how he gave you the different distinction of the actual chimpanzee and the hominid? Okay, let me read this again. Let me show you how he told the difference. He says, with some living creatures, he was especially enamored. They lived among the tall trees. Their front legs as hands they were using. Okay? Their front legs as hands. Don't we see monkeys using their feet going from limb to limb? Monkeys grab a limb with their feet and then they go from tree to tree. So that's what he was saying. He was talking about those, right? Now he's going to talk about the hominids. So he knows that there's a difference between the two, okay? So he says, with some living creatures, I was especially enamored. They lived among the tall trees. Their front legs as hands they were using. Then he says, in the tall grasses of the steeps, other odd creatures were seen. Erect, they seemed to be walking. Okay? Other odd creatures, they seem erect, they seem to be walking. All right? Absorbed was Enki in those studies. What was among the Anunnaki brewing? He noticed not. First to notice trouble was Ninurta. A lessening of gold ores at Bad Tiberia he observed. By Enlil was Ninurta dispatched to the Abzu. Was ongoing to discover. By Inugi, the chief officer, to the excavations he was accompanied. Okay, let me explain what's going on right quick. Somebody coming up short. Somebody coming up short. Somebody stealing from the trap. The trap is coming up short, guys. Ninurta say he went to check the package and the package was short. If you ain't from the streets, you ain't gonna know what I'm talking about. But they say the gold was not coming back right. Something is happening. Complaints of the Anunnaki, he with his own ears heard. They were backbiting and lamenting. In the excavations, they were grumbling. Unbearable is the toil to the Ninurta, they were saying. Them young boys complaining. Ninurta reported this to his uncle Enki. Enki said, let us summon Enlil. Enlil in the Abzu arrived. In a house near the excavations, he was, whoa. I cannot skip over that. Let me go back. Hold on. I got something for y'all. You know I like to show the facts as we come across them in the tablet. I like to show proof of what they're talking about. I want to show some proof. Watch this. Check this out. So, Enki said, let us summon Enlil. Watch this shit. Enlil in the Abzu arrived. In a house near the excavations he was stationed. Y'all know the Abzu is Africa, baby. And you know they down in the lower Abzu, okay? They in the lower Abzu, okay? So let me show. Come on now. Come on now. Listen. 200,000-year-old city in the Abzu. 200,000-year-old city in the Abzu. So listen. So let's read. Let's read. The walls, hold on. The geology of the site is also interesting. Situated beside numerous gold mines, it was suggested that these were the first gold mines. So when they talk about Enlil in a house near the excavations, come on now. Enlil in the Abzu arrived. In a house near the excavations, he was stationed. Let us unnerve Enlil in his dwelling, mine workers shouted. Second revolt. Here come the second revolt. So I'm just letting y'all know Adam's calendar is legit. Adam's calendar was the structure that was built near the gold mines. This is exactly what they're alluding to. Okay, Enlil was in one of these places when he came down to check on the situation. Okay, so here come the second revolt. Now, you all good, P Money, you know what I mean? You ain't never late, my brother. You only be here when you want to be here. If you want to be here on time, then we going to be here to welcome you. If you got to be late, we going to still be here to welcome you. You do it your way, my brother. Do it your way. And appreciate the donation too, gang. Shout out to my brother P Money, man. P Money been tapping in with the family, guys. I got to bring him on into the UMF. Okay, he UMF. P Money UMF. I got to bring him on in. So check this out, gang. Check this out. Here come the second revolt. We already seen the first revolt. This is the second one. The young boys, what they call them online, the YNs. Ain't that what they call them online? The YNs, the YNSs. So now these young boys don't want to work. They lazy as hell, and they stealing gold. Right? On top of everything, these niggas lazy and they stealing. This the Anunnaki Gen Z. These the Anunnaki Gen Zers. So Enlil comes down. Enlil comes down. Yeah, man. Enlil comes down and says, hey, let me figure out what's going on here. Right? But these dudes are already took it to the next level. These Gen Z Anunnaki, they on a different level. They bold. These niggas is bold. Listen to what they finna do. Listen. In a house near the excavations, Enlil was stationed. This the Gen Zers. They say, let us unnerve Enlil in his dwelling. Let us unnerve Enlil in his dwelling. Boy, you gotta be bold to go fucking with Enlil. Enlil ain't no punk. Let us unnerve Enlil in his dwelling, mine workers shouted. Of the heavy work, let him relieve us. Ooh, they got some attitude. They say, Enlil, let his ass come do the work. So you can see how angry these guys are, right? You can see how angry these guys are. They say, shit, let's go wake that nigga up. Let's go wake Enlil ass up and tell that nigga he can come do the work if he got a problem. Young boys ready, man. The young boys ready. Listen to this. The young boys talking big shit. Listen to them. They say, let us proclaim war. With hostilities, let us gain relief. Others shouted. Oh, so they say they want war. They say they want war. The Anunnaki in the excavations of incitement heeded the words. To their tools, they set fire. To their axes, they put. So they building torches. They troubled Inugi, chief officer of the mining in the tunnels, they kidnapped the nigga. They kidnapped the site's supervisor. His name is Chief Inugi. They kidnapped this man. So the YNs, the Anunnaki YNSs, then kidnapped the damn chief, the supervisor. They told Enlil to bring his ass outside, right? They told Enlil, come outside. You know what I'm saying? So these young niggas is out of control. They held Inugi as they went. To the doorway of Enlil's dwelling, they made their way. It was night. Halfway through the watch, it was. Enlil's dwellings they surrounded. Their tools as torches they held high. Cow, the gateway's guardian, bolted the door, and Nuski aroused. Nusku, Enlil's vizier, roused his lord, got him out of bed, thus saying, "My lord, your house is surrounding. Battling Anunnaki to your gate came up." You hear he called him my lord. Okay? My lord, your house is surrounding. Now, I told y'all about that term the other day. That's just a royal term. If you go over there and you study the royal families, they refer to each other as lord and ladies. If you were serving and you work for the prince, you call him my lord. If you work for the king, you call him my lord. Enlil and Enki are royals, so they are called lord. Ninmah is called lady. Okay? My lord, they have surrounded your house. Enlil summoned Enki. Enlil then summoned Ninurta to his presence. What do my own eyes see? Is it against me that this thing is done? Thus was Enlil to them saying, who is of the hostiles, the instigator? The Anunnaki stood together. Every single one of us hostilities has declared. Ooh, I like these young niggas. These young niggas sticking together. So Enlil say, who is the troublemaker? Point out the troublemaker. The young niggas say, nigga, we all the troublemakers. What? We all, ain't no one person. We ain't gonna point out one person. We all together. The young niggas say, excessive is the toll. Our work is heavy. Great is the distress. So they were saying to Enlil. Words of the happenings Enlil to Anu beamed. Of what is Enlil accused? Anu inquired. The work is causing the trouble, not Enlil, Enki to Anu was saying. The lamentation is heavy. Every day the complaints we could hear. Think about that, guys. These people are 10 to 15 feet tall. And this work was hard for them. It was hard. It was tough. Okay? And they 15 fucking feet tall. Anu said the gold must be obtained by any means. The work must continue. Okay, so this is Anu. Anu trying to figure out what's going on. Right? So Anu called Enki and said, hey man, what the fuck is going on? What the hell is Enlil done did down there to make these boys mad? And Enki said, nah, dad, it ain't Enlil. Shit, these dudes lazy as hell. So Anu was like, well, look, y'all better fix that shit. Cause look, I want a gold Rolex. I want me a new gold Rolex. And I want me a new gold chain. So y'all better get the goddamn gold to me. Wait, Dad, I thought we needed the gold to fix the breach. Nigga, shut up and just get me the gold. Anu don't play. Anu said, get the money, man. Get me the money now. Okay? So here we go. We got to fix it. This is the second revolt. Anu says, the work must continue. Release Anugi for consultations, Enlil said to the hostile Anunnaki. Enki was released. To the leaders, he was saying, ever since Earth's heat has been rising, the toil is excruciating. Unbearable it is. Let the rebels to Nibiru return. Let new ones come instead, Ninurta said. Perchance new tools you can fashion, Enlil said to Enki. For the Anunnaki heroes, the tunnels to avoid. Let us summon my son Ningazita. Counsel with hire I wish to take, Enki thus responded. They summoned Ningazita from the house of life he came. With him Enki huddled. Words amongst them they exchanged. Enki said, a solution is possible. Here we go, gang. Here we go. A solution is possible. Let us create a Lulu, a primitive worker, the hardship work to take over. Enter Homo sapien. Okay, we here now. All right, so this is when they came up with it. Now y'all can see. So let me before I finish up here, let's stop and take a moment to look at this. We got 2 revolts. 2 times work has had to stop. We've had 2 work stoppages. See, a boss understands this more than anybody. As a person who owns business, I know how difficult a work stoppage can be. The city of San Marcos had to come and drill in front of my business. They had to come and replace some water lines on the street in front of my business. I literally, listen, check this out. Somebody show, it's some weirdo in here saying Edo Mysterio. Show this lame the door. It's a nobody, some nobody ass person who don't nobody care about. Bye, nobody. Get your nobody ass out of here, weirdo. Anyway, the city of San Marcos had to come and replace water lines in front of my business. We were inconvenienced for damn near a week. And it wasn't shit we could do about it. You know, I'm talking about, imagine, you know, you gotta run, you gotta sell every day to keep your bills paid, to keep your employees straight. So I know how it feels when you got a work stoppage, when you can't afford a work stoppage and you got one. Okay? So after 2 work stoppages, Enki said enough is enough. Fuck all this switching out workers. We ain't finna send no workers and bring these back. We you know what I'm saying? Yeah, we gonna bring another batch in, but this gonna be the last time this happened. Cause I got a great idea. Enki said, I got a great idea. He said, let's create a primitive worker. Now can y'all see the reasons for what they did, why they did it? Let's create a primitive worker who don't even know what hard work is. A Lulu, a primitive worker. The reason for this, let me tell y'all something. The first man did not know what hard work was. He worked his ass off. You could work the first man freaking 72 hours straight, and that nigga still have a smile on his face. He don't know what hard work is. If you don't know that you're being worked hard, you can work them hard as you want to. See, you only complain because you know both sides. If you only knew work, then you would never think about, oh, I need to rest. The first primitive worker didn't know what rest was. They didn't have no concept of nothing. Imagine being the first. See, y'all are the 10 billionth. We the 10 billionth people that existed in humanity. Imagine being the first. You take for granted all the knowledge that you got in your mind. You take for granted the way you see the world. You take for granted the way you think. People haven't always thought the way you think. In the beginning, these people didn't have they couldn't conceive the kind of things that you can conceive in your mind. They didn't know what good was. They didn't know what evil was. They didn't know what hard work was. They didn't know what being lazy was. They didn't have no concept of none of these things. So what I'm asking y'all to do is wrap your mind around being the first. Being the first of existence. You don't know what disrespect is. You don't know what nothing is. Guess what let me tell y'all about the first man. The first man was a blank computer. He was programmed. Whatever they put into him was developing his program. Okay? So, if you want him to be a Mac, you're going to give him this much game so he can become a Mac, an Apple product. I'm talking about Mac computer, Macintosh. If you want him to be a PC, then you got to give him a certain amount of game, a certain amount of information so he can be Microsoft. Right? The Anunnaki programmed them to do one thing and one thing only. Do y'all understand that? The first human was not programmed to feel pain. He was not programmed to understand pain. He was programmed to work. And only to work. And to be happy with the work. See, if we traveled to the past to see the first man, and we saw them niggas working 72 hours straight, we'd be like, damn, dog, ain't you tired? They'd be like, what the fuck is tired? What is tired? What is that? You know what I'm saying? You, motherfucker, you work 72 hours straight. Nigga, the primitive worker, man, he ain't called in to work. The supervisor can always count on the primitive worker. Hey, my nigga, you can work, I need somebody to come in on Saturday. You can do that? It's your birthday? You gonna still come in? Okay, cool. Even on the day of rest, they had my boys working. Even on the day of rest, they had them boys working, man. Okay? So I want y'all to understand that about the primitive worker, the Lulu. He was being designed to work. That is what created the reason to genetically alter us. Now, had the Anunnaki not genetically altered us, we would still be evolving right now. We would still be very primitive. Right now, today, I swear to God, we'll still be hairy as a motherfucker. Ain't no telling what we become. But we will still be evolving. Now, a lot of y'all want to know where white folks come from. A lot of y'all want to know where the white folks come from. I know you've been taught a lot of dumb shit. People that gave you a lot of dumbass reasons for where white folks come from. But if we were genetically altered from hominids, in Africa, what happened to all the other hominids around the world? The Anunnaki operated on what was in front of them. Okay? The Anunnaki operated on the hominids that was in front of them. But there were other hominids around the world. Do you understand that? There were hominids in the woods of Eastern Europe. There were hominids in China. There were hominids everywhere. They were not just in Africa, gang. The ones in Africa received genetic alteration. Didn't nobody else get that? So this is when you hear people say the black man was the first of civilization. The black man was first in society. This is how. We were the first because we were genetically altered first. We became the first Homo sapiens. They didn't genetically alter what we call pale skin, the pale skin races, till 200,000 years after us. It would be almost 200,000 years after us that they were find a reason to genetically alter more hominids. We was the first group, and we lived amongst these Anunnaki as their workers for the first 200,000 years of our existence. This is why Africa had civilization before all other civilizations. Think about it. Who had cities first? Who had cities first? What continent had cities? I'm talking about with cities, with paved streets. Africa. Had cities first, had technological advancement first. The first wheel, Africa. The pyramids of Giza. This is what that means. When you hear somebody say that black people were first, this is what this is. We were genetically altered before any other groups. Other groups are going to be genetically altered as well. But we were the first. And we didn't receive the same genetic alteration. Because the person that genetically altered us was the master. We received our genetic alteration from a master. That's why we great. That's why we run fast. That's why we jump high. That's why we amazing. That's why we can create. That's why we, all the things, you know, they can talk all the shit they want to about us. Everything come from us. Everything comes from us. I don't give a fuck how you feel. This is why Billy Carson will never teach the truth. Because Billy Carson has to appease white people. He has to appease Hispanic people. He got to appease Asian people. He got to teach his course and not tell the truth. Because he don't want to offend nobody. But I don't give a fuck about somebody being offended because the truth is the truth. Melanated folks were first. Melanated folks were first in civilization, accomplishments, technological advancements. We were first. And we were first because the Anunnaki genetically altered us first. In Africa. This is where it took place. If white people were indigenous to Africa, if they were a part of this part of the story, then they would be there as an indigenous group. You would see white indigenous tribes. But you don't find white indigenous tribes. You find brown indigenous tribes, non-ether hair, no pale skins. You know why? Do you understand why? Because the pale skin is a recessive trait. It cannot survive under the heat of Africa. It could not have sustained under the heat of Africa. You are brown because of constantly taking in the sun's energy. You're constantly under the sun. So the sun is what gives you your melanin. Well, genetics in the sun. Genetics in the sun is what gives you your melanin. Whites developed in mountainous areas, okay? Whites developed in mountainous areas away from the sun. Okay? But it just asks a dumbass question. He says, how do white people live there now? You a dumbass. You a whole dumbass. You gotta be a dumbass. That's why I don't take no questions from people that's not in a group. How do white people, you dumbass. I'm not, oh Lord have mercy. God help him. My dude, well, he gone now. I already blocked him. But let me say this right quick. Y'all do know it's a difference between living somewhere from the beginning of time to staying somewhere, like living, like if I move to if I move to Switzerland, I'm not going to turn into a white person. You know what I'm saying? The conditions ain't going to be so unbearable. But guess what could have never happened? I could have never developed as a people living in Switzerland because of the conditions. Because I'm a sun person. So I got to be around the sun. Now we all know, he asked me, why can white people live there now? They don't stay in the sun, dumbass. Somebody tell that dumbass that back then they wouldn't have had structures. You see why I like dealing with dumb people? He think that white people staying in Africa now means that they could have always been there. They wouldn't have had a house to live in, you dumbass. The white people that's in Africa now live in houses. They have air conditioning. They're not out in the African sun all day, dumbass. The original man was in the African sun all day, every day, no shelter. How dumb you got to be? Lord have mercy. They don't be thinking. They don't be thinking. Y'all understand that, right? Do y'all understand that? Like, we talking about we talk about 250,000 years ago. How would a white person been able to survive in Africa 250,000 years ago? How would a white person been able to survive in Africa 250,000 years ago without a structure, without a house? Thank you. Well, how do they live in Africa now? Because they got houses, dumbass. They got houses now. No, they was already created, big dog. They come from the same thing we come from. That's what you got to learn. We all come from hominids. They continued in their natural evolution. Let me pull up something right quick. Let me explain something to you right quick. Let me do it this way. Y'all something real quick. Okay. This is the white man, the black man. This is all men right here. Y'all see this? At this point, we was all the same. You got hominids in Africa. You got hominids in Asia. You had hominids in Europe. You had hominids in the Americas. Do y'all understand that? Everybody was the same at this point. At this point in evolution, everyone was the same. Put a 1 in the chat if you understand that. So y'all, let me make sure y'all understand that. Everybody was the same at this point in evolution. Then this happened. Okay? You see this question mark? This is the missing link. This question mark represents the Anunnaki's involvement. This is where we separated from what will become the white man. The white man is not even the white man at this point. He's still evolving. This is where we separated from the white man and became Homo sapien, right here. The white man continued on his natural path of evolution. Our natural path of evolution was interrupted, which is a good thing. It's a good thing we were interrupted. We wouldn't be these beautiful people we are today. We wouldn't be these beautiful, talented people we are today if the Anunnaki had not done that. So I'm grateful. But this is your separation, gang. All of that old goofy shit that they be telling y'all, talking about, they talk about Yakub and this and that. Yakub is an Anunnaki. When you talk about the story of Yakub, all you talking about is an Anunnaki geneticist. The same shit I'm telling you right now. He was none but an Anunnaki geneticist. So don't have yourself thinking that Yakub created white folks in a laboratory. He genetically altered these white folks the same way Enki genetically altered us. Except he did it at a later time. But we were all the same here And then this happened, and we split, and we became this. Now watch this. The white man in the caves, in the mountains, the hominids that were in the mountains, in the cave, they continued on their process of natural evolution. So what do you think happened to that white man that continued to evolve an additional 200,000 years after us? He went to the next stage. Do y'all know what the next stage of evolution is after Homo erectus? Give me somebody that ain't been in class. Do anybody know what the next stage of evolution after Homo erectus? What's the next stage? What's the next stage in evolution after Homo erectus? Not human. Not human, my brother. That is not the next stage. That's the deviated stage. That's what you become when you deviate. The next stage, all y'all wrong. The next stage is nope, not Homo sapien. Nope. The next stage in evolution, ain't no mound builders, big dog. Come on, bro. Show Buddy the dough. I ain't got no time for that. Show Buddy the dough. We ain't got no time for no baby brains up in here. Show Buddy the dough. Leandrio, give it up for the Mod Squad God. Give it up for the Mod Squad God. That's your answer. That's the next stage in evolution. Homo sapien was not a stage. That's a created stage. Let me make sure y'all understand. Homo sapien was not our next step. The genetic alteration is what caused us to become Homo sapien. They made us Homo sapien. That wasn't the next natural. Okay, let me do it like this. Watch this. Do y'all remember when we did the System of God class? I told y'all, I say God seeds all of his planetary bodies. Put a 1 in the chat if you remember during the System of God class. I told y'all that God seeds all of his planets. All of his planets get seeded. Okay? These are God's seeds. The fruits, the trees, the plants, the beings. God is created the beings. God created the soul. God created all of that. The Anunnaki did not create a being. Well, they did, but it wasn't human. Listen. This is why my course is important. Because they got y'all out here thinking that the Anunnaki created people. They got y'all out here thinking that the Anunnaki were gods. They were not that. They did not create people, and they were not gods. They are advanced beings. They are older advanced beings. The same shit that they have the ability to do back then, we got the ability to do now. Do y'all understand that? Do y'all understand that we possess some of the same power that the Anunnaki had then? We have that now. We have the ability. We already do genetic alterations. We do gene splicing. Okay, y'all ever heard of gene splicing? They create chimeras right now. They got animals where they took some genes from one animal and mixed it with another animal. They doing all of this shit right now. Okay? So when I'm telling y'all exactly what plant, well, we do that, I do it with plants too. I'm trying to goddamn get me a strawberry melon tree going. I'm trying to do some shit where I can get a strawberry melon tree going. But yeah, they do it with plants as well. All right, so check it out. Oh, big time with the za. Big time. So check it out. If you wanna talk about God, God seeds the planet. The Anunnaki simply interrupted God's creation. We are God's creation interrupted. But if God didn't intend for that to happen, God wouldn't allow it to happen. God intended for us to be interrupted and for this to happen. Everything that has taken place was supposed to take place. Okay? So you need to make sure you understand. Make sure you understand We were all the same here. The Anunnaki intervened, genetically altered us. The hominids continued to evolve. Homo erectus, next stage of evolution is Neanderthalis. Okay, now what y'all know about the Neanderthal? What do y'all know of this guy right here? Y'all don't know nothing about this guy? Y'all don't know the caveman? Where y'all think you get the caveman from? You ain't never seen no black caveman, have you? That's Neanderthalis. Meet Neanderthalis, the caveman. No, because it wasn't evolution. It wasn't a natural evolution. It was a created form of evolution. Now, to be honest, Jay Swing, check this out. We would have had to wait an additional 300, 400,000 years to see what we would have naturally evolved into. We would have had to wait an additional, from the time of Homo erectus, we would have had to wait an additional 300,000, 400,000 years. I'm finna bring it on home. Y'all ready? So check this out. Ain't no black caveman. Only caveman we know is this guy. Put him over the head. Eating that meat. Come on, man. Tap up the screen, guys. Hey, if you're not a course member and you in here and you in our live, make sure you gifting the live. Because if you in here and you not gifting the live, we gonna treat you like the bomb you is. You in here sucking up the game. Make sure you gifting the live. If you ain't gifting the live, go ahead and walk your way out. Go ahead and walk your way out. If you ain't gifting the live, if you ain't showing the love, go ahead and walk your way out. Because we about to start removing some people. This for the class. No, you good, P Money. Y'all all family. Y'all all class. But for these people that's not in the class, for these people that's not course members, if you're not showing no love, go ahead and walk your way on out. We ain't laying this game down. I'm not in here to entertain you. It ain't my job to entertain you. It ain't my job to teach you. It's my job to teach my class. The people who pay for the information, the people who value the information. We got to feel it, big dog. My people are gifted up down there 20,000 in gifts up in here. Feel the love, homie. If ain't no love, ain't no reason for you to be in here. It ain't no reason for you to be in here, homie. So let me get back to it. He different. He different. He is different. Okay? We never made it to Neanderthalis stage. We never, hold on, let me get some, I'm gonna remove some of these people. Let me block some of these people out the live right quick. Let me block some of these people out the live. There's so many people up in this motherfucker that ain't supposed to be in here. So let me remove some of these people from the live right quick so I can get this information out. We ain't gonna let you just sit up in here and suck up the game, not show no love. You trying to get entertained. Nah, we gonna let you go somewhere else. We're gonna let them go somewhere else. Hell nah. We're gonna let y'all go somewhere else. My folks in here gifting this shit, so we're gonna let y'all go somewhere else. So check it out. Here we go. So we never made it. We never made it to Neanderthal stage, guys. We don't have no Neanderthal DNA inside of us. Do y'all know that? The black man, the melanated man, does not have not 1 inch of Neanderthal DNA in his genome. Put a 1 in the chat if you know that. The black man, the melanated man and woman don't have 1% of genetic or of Neanderthal DNA in their system. Put a 1 in the chat if you know that. We blocking anybody that ain't gifted alive, homie. We blocking anybody that ain't gifted alive. Your ass getting blocked up out of here. Find you somewhere else to go. Okay? Now guess who has 3% of Neanderthal genes to this day? Guess who still possess 3% of Neanderthal? This is my job, Sam Hooper. Get your bum ass out of here. You can't afford to be in here. That's your problem, Sam Hooper. You can't afford to be in here. Get your bum ass out of here. Talking about some get a job. No, nigga, this is the job. You can't afford to be in here. You too broke. My space ain't for broke ass bums. It ain't for people who in here. This a penny. Nigga can't even afford to give a penny. But his goofy ass is sitting up in here waiting on me to talk. Talking about go get a job. But your goofy ass sitting up in my live waiting on me to talk. Man, you goofy. White folks possess 3 to 5% of Neanderthal genetics. The white folks, the pale-skinned people, they possess 3 to 5%. And it ain't just them. Hold on. Let me stop. When we say pale-skinned guys, we talking about the Arabs all the way to your whitest white boy. We talking about, are they all pale-skinned races? The white boy, the Arab is the first white boy. The Arab is the first white boy. Yeah, Asians too. The Asians, but you got to be careful with the Asians though. The Asians are the Ijiji. The Ijiji is a big part of what the Asians are. So the Asians, they got kind of like the same kind of ancient genome the same way we do. It's a reason why they've been able to build such an incredible civilization. It's a reason why, because if you think about it, think about Asian civilization. They've been civilized a long time. Like China has been civilized a long time. China's dynasties go back as far as these African dynasties. So the Ijiji is responsible for a lot of what we consider the Asians to be. Okay, that look. If we went to Nibiru, you will see people that look just like the Asians. If we went to Nibiru, you will see them people with them chinky eyes just like this. That's an alien look. That's an alien phenotype. This shit here, that's an alien phenotype. So, but we'll get into all that. We're going to get into all that. Don't worry about it. But I want y'all to understand this part. Okay? The white man still possesses 3 to 5% of Neanderthal genome because he was the Neanderthal. By the time he became the Neanderthal, we were already living in the cities with the Anunnaki as their workers. Okay, as their workers. Hey, where am I getting this from? I'm getting this from 18 years of education. That's where I'm getting it from. I'm getting it. Yeah, I know you ain't trying to be confrontational, but just remember that you in my space. So it's like wherever I'm getting it from, it's already validated. It's already validated. See, the problem is, you know what I'm saying? The problem is you got to remember it's not me that's in question. It's yourself. So you got to ask yourself, what is it that I don't know? Instead of trying to figure out where somebody's getting information from, try to figure out what is it that I don't know. Because the biggest problem we have in society today is most people are walking around thinking that they're educated or that they have the truth. Okay, so in this space, people come to this space to get the truth. People come to this space to get the answers. You got to humble yourself first. You got to stop telling yourself that I know the truth. that I got all the answers. No, you got the programming. You've been programmed. You've been given a bunch of bullshit. And here we have the truth. Okay, so let me move on. Let me get back to class. These folks ain't gonna never, these folks don't understand, man. This is a classroom, man. This is a classroom. This is not a goofy live. This is a classroom. So let's get back. Now let me say this. Is there anything that I have said that somebody feel like they can contest? If you want to contest me, if you want to fact check me, look up this information. Just Google that tonight. Google, do any beings still possess Neanderthal genetics? Just Google that tonight. Google that tonight. Does any beings still possess Neanderthal genetics? And they're going to tell you, Europeans. They're going to tell you Europeans possess 3 to 5%. Okay? So by the time they were coming into Neanderthals, we were living in the cities with the Anunnaki. We were learning from the Anunnaki. The Anunnaki was teaching us how to build. They were teaching us how to grow. They was teaching us how to do all kind of shit. So imagine what we were by the time we came in contact with these people. Imagine what we was by the time we came in contact with these people. Just 6,000 years ago. We were already living in civilization, cities, already had technology. These people came out the fucking woods. They had to be taught everything. They had to be taught how to be civilized. They had to be taught how to be clean. All these things they had to be taught. We had already been living that shit. We had already been living in it. So if you ever want to know where white folks come from, that's where white folks come from. We were all a part of the natural evolution. Our natural evolution deviated. Their natural evolution continued. They were not genetically altered until 6,000 years ago. So their genetic alteration happened somewhere between 5,000 and 7,000 years ago. Still not civilized, huh? Still not. But let me go back because it's important that y'all hear this. The Arab is the original white boy. I'm going to say that one more time. The Arab. What's that in district? You all good, my brother? The Arab is the original white boy. You ready for me to prove it to you? You ready for me to prove it to you? I'm going to show y'all that most people don't really be knowing shit. How many times have y'all heard that white folks come from the Caucasus Mountains? Put a 1 in the chat if you've ever heard that white people come from the Caucasus Mountains. Appreciate it, Jay Swing. That's how you do that. That's how you do that, Jay Swing. All your life, right? All your life, that's what you hear. White folks come from the Caucasus Mountains. That's why we got Caucasian. Well, I'm finna give y'all a piece of information in here today. The Arab was the original white boy. The Caucasus Mountains, where y'all think the Caucasus Mountains are located? Now, I don't want my previous class members to say anything because I know y'all know the answer. Leave this for the new people. Where do y'all think the Caucasus Mountains are located? Leave this for the new people. I see you, SOE. I see you, SOE. Having year, you know some. I already know you know some. I see some of y'all know a little something. Some of y'all know a little something. Some of y'all know a little something. Okay, I see you. Okay, gang. Okay, gang. Some of y'all know a little something. But check this out. Sure, appreciate the love, gang. Let's get it. Hey, let's knock out this gold too. Let's finish up this gold, guys. We ain't got number like 1,500 in diamonds. Let's finish up this gold. Shout out to Sure. Okay, so no, not Russia. Wrong. Russia, wrong. But that's what most people think. Most people think the Caucasus is in Russia. Most people think the Caucasus is in Europe. That's where you'll be wrong. So please don't say nothing else. Well, I got a map. All right. So I got quite a bit I'm finna run through right quick. So the first thing you need to know. Now for all the people that keep hollering Russia, where do you see Russia on this map? You don't see Russia nowhere on this map, do you? Here go the Caucasus right here, guys. Here go Caucasia right here. Everybody see that? Y'all see that? Look where it's right below, right up here, baby. Follow my finger. Right here up above my finger. Okay, there you go, Caucasia. All right, look what's right below it. Look what's right below it. Is that not Arabia? Is that not Iran? Is that not Iraq right below it? If you walk down out of the Caucasus Mountains, then you walk right down into the Middle East. When you walk down out of the Caucasus Mountains, you walk right down into Turkey and into the Middle East. Okay? Everybody can see that? Put a 1 in the chat if you can see that. The Caucasus is right above Iran. Right above Iran and Iraq. Now, I'm finna tell y'all something. Check this shit out. Let me show y'all how beautiful this is. Now, Chief be telling y'all to watch the movies. Didn't I tell y'all to go watch 10,000 BC? 10,000 BC shows you this whole, how this whole Anunnaki thing worked. Okay, but let me show you another thing to show you. In 10,000 BC, they show you the Caucasians. Okay, they show you the Caucasians coming out the mountains, coming down into Egypt. Y'all better go watch 10,000 BC. They show you on 10,000 BC how the Caucasus Mountain folks came down into Egypt. And these Caucasus Mountain people were not the white boys that y'all, the white people, the people that y'all call white today. They were not these people. Let me show y'all. Y'all want to see the indigenous Caucasians? Do y'all want to see the indigenous Caucasians? Let's take a look at them. like to y'all? Do this look like a Karen, a white woman, or does that look like an indigenous Arab? 1 for indigenous Arab, 2 for Karen. If she looks like an indigenous Arab woman, give me a 1. Give me a 2 if she looks like a Karen. Okay, these are your indigenous people of Caucasia. These are the indigenous Caucasians. And guess what? They still walk on all fours. They still walk on all fours. Look at that. Village near the Caucasus Mountains. Neanderthals proves that they are Neanderthals. Okay, so I told y'all, man, all of this information, y'all got it backwards. Okay, and the reason why these folks has the tint to their skin is because they lived, when they left out the mountains, listen, watch this. When they left out of the mountains and they came down into what we call the Middle East or into Africa, this is where they developed the tint. This is how they get the darker. This is why they are darker pale people. They are darker versions of pale people. Because when they came down into the Middle East and into these African regions, they were exposed to the sun. And this is where they get their darker tint from. Okay? So the Arab is the original pale skin that all other pale skins come from. Okay? The Arab is the original pale skin that from which all other pale skins come from. Y'all give me 1 second. I'm going to be right back. I got some more game to lay on you. Give me 1 second. All right. So here we go. So this is, like I say, man, listen, I want y'all to understand this. I need folks to stop acting like human history is simple. Human history is not simple. Human history is entirely complex and requires a bunch of explanation. Stop reading these fucking books thinking books gonna give you all the answer. If you want the answers, you have to piece this puzzle together, bro. You got to go study the civilizations. You got to study the archaeology. When you read a book, all you doing is championing somebody else's perspective. You don't know if that person that did the real research. You don't know if that person that studied the archaeology. You just reading their perspective. Don't ever. Let me tell y'all something. I'm what you call an autodactic. I'm a self-taught master. This is how you become a master. You teach yourself. And the way you teach yourself is you can learn from others, but you gravitate toward their knowledge and you take the pieces of knowledge that you need from them. You don't take all of their knowledge because they might not be completely right. So I might have one master that I'm studying over here. I'll take a few pieces of his game, and then I study another master. See, the way I become a master, I studied masters, and I took bits and pieces from all of their game. Okay? No, we're not paused, my bro. I don't. Your screen might be paused. But the human story is not simple. It is not what you have been given. You have never been given the truth about what took place. But you got to ask yourself, at some point in this course, you're going to have to ask yourself, is this story lining up? Everything I've been showing y'all, ain't it lining up? Okay? So, like I told you, the white boy is not the original pale skin. He's not the original Caucasian. Okay? So they used to sit up in that cave and clunk each other over the head and then eat each other. And they like to eat that bloody meat and they like to have that blood dripping from their mouth. Now, let me ask y'all something today. How does the white man like his steak today? How does the white man famously like his steak? When he want his steak, how does he like his steak? Raw. Want that motherfucker bloody. He got y'all thinking that's a fancy way to eat the steak. Got niggas running around this motherfucker talking about, give me a rare steak. No, not me. Medium. Medium. I definitely, medium. I'm taking medium all day. Okay? But I damn sure ain't doing rare. I'm damn sure ain't doing rare. Okay? So check this out. The meat eating. The meat eating is what made him, So when you eat meat, when you eat flesh, it lowers the vibration. Okay? When you eat meat and when you eating flesh, it lowers the vibration of the spirit. Okay? So a meat eater is going to be aggressive. A meat eater is going to be angry. A meat eater is going to be violent. Do white people fit that description in any way? Do white people fit that description? Are they violent? Are they angry? Are they aggressive? The white man has been killing his own since the beginning of his inception. They've been killing their own. We didn't do that. We lived in civility. The Anunnaki they trained us with manners. The primitive man, the first man was not killing each other. They didn't, the first murder we heard of is going to be much later down the line. It's much later. And y'all know who the first murder was. The first murder is Cain and Abel. That's a true story. That's coming up down the line. We'll get there. We're going to get there. So this diet, this low vibrational diet, okay? This low vibrational diet, they gave it to you. They gave it to you. They gave it to you in slavery. They gave you their pork. We wasn't eating no goddamn pork. They gave it to you though. They gave you all that meat. They gave you all that bullshit food to eat. They gave you that bullshit diet. And we ate that shit for the next 200-300 years. And it eventually had an effect on who we were. So when black folks used to live in peace and harmony, living amongst each other, helping each other out, yeah, we didn't have no choice. We didn't have no choice. We used to live in peace and harmony. We still got a lot of that in us today. But as he forced his food on us, it lowered our vibration. And we went from being brothers and sisters to niggas and bitches. We went from being brothers and sisters to niggas and bitches. They lowered the vibration. Where we used to take care of each other, love each other, protect our community, now we're fighting and we're killing each other and we're shooting each other. We're behaving just like the caveman. Put a 1 in the chat if you agree. Put a 1 in the chat. 11 murders over the weekend of homecoming. TSU in Houston just had their homecoming. 11 murders over the weekend of the homecoming. Mm-hmm. See, the whites have always killed each other. They've always treated each other badly. What I want y'all to know, and I'm doing this in community talk this week. I'm going to be live on Saturday, and I'm doing a community talk on this. Y'all need to understand that has always been their nature, to kill each other, to hurt each other, to maim each other, right? That has not always been our culture. Even the gangsterism, right? I showed y'all a couple times that even the gangsterism comes from them. They got y'all thinking that we created this gangsterism, this Crip and Blood mentality. But they was doing that shit in the 30s. In the 20s, they was doing drive-bys, right? Go back and watch the old gangster movies. Go and watch the old gangster movies when a white mobster sits outside the car, comes through with the Tommy gun, hanging out the side of the car, spraying motherfuckers up. Am I lying? Am I lying? So they were doing this gangsterism long before we was. We was nice, upstanding citizens at that time. Go back further and find them at the OK Corral. Go back to the Wild Wild West, and you got them shooting each other in the Wild Wild West, right? You got them shooting each other in the Wild Wild West, right? This has always been their nature. It ain't always been our nature. Okay? Yeah, Movie Gangs of New York, one of my favorite movies. One of my favorite movies. Like I say, I'm going to do a live. I'm going to be doing community talk on Saturday. I'm going to be talking on this. What I want y'all to know is they gave us all this shit. They forced all this shit on us. They forced this low vibration lifestyle on us. Okay? So everything that you see happening in our community today is a direct result of what they gave us in diet and all of that. Okay? But back to the lessons. What I wanted y'all to see is a couple things. I wanted y'all to see that the Caucasus was located right above Iran, right above what we call the Middle East. Okay? I wanted y'all to know that the first pale skins were the Arabs. Okay? We fought with these people long before we met the white boys. We had to fight them first. Okay? They enslaved some of our people long before the white boy enslaved some of them. Okay, y'all know about Arab conquest, right? Y'all know about Arab conquest, right? You need to know these things. You need to know these things, okay? So the history in that part of the world is where everything starts, and that is where we began. So I wanted y'all to understand the split. I wanted y'all to understand that we became Homo sapien as a result of an alteration. That wasn't the natural leap. The natural leap would have been Neanderthalis, then from Neanderthalis to Cro-Magnon, and then from Cro-Magnon, maybe we become normal Homo sapiens or some shit like that, right? But we skipped. Everybody else had to keep going. We skipped. Okay? So this is where we at in the story. Okay, now we got two revolts. We got the two revolts that went down. Enki said enough is enough. Enki said enough is enough. So Enki says, let's create a primitive being. Let the being the toil of the Anunnaki carry on his back. Astounded were the besieged leaders. Speechless indeed they were. Who ever heard of creating a being afresh? Okay? So when he spoke about doing this, they was like, what? You gonna do what? Ain't nobody never heard of doing this. Who ever heard of creating a being afresh? A worker whose the Anunnaki work can do. They summoned Ninma, one who of healing much knowing. Enki's words to her they repeated. Have you ever heard of such a thing, Ninma? They asked. The task is unheard of, she said to Enki. All beings from a seed have descended. One being from another over eons did develop. A secret of the Abzu let me reveal to all of you. The being that we need already exists. All we have to do is put our mark of essence upon it. So they call Ninma in. Ninma says, hey man, I ain't never heard of this, Enki. This some wild shit. Right? They thought that Enki was talking about creating a being from scratch. That's what they thought. They thought he was talking about pulling a god. Okay? That's why they were saying ain't nobody never heard of that. Because nobody never, only God got the ability to create from thought. You know what I mean? From scratch or from thought. So he wasn't saying he was creating from scratch. Okay? He was saying the being already exists. All we got to do is genetically alter it. Do y'all understand that? He says, all we have to do is put on it the mark of our essence. All we have to do is put on it the mark of our essence. So for the last time, they did not create us. They genetically altered us. Big difference. Big difference. Thereby a Lulu, a primitive worker, shall be created. So did Enki say to them, let us hereby a decision make, a blessing to my plan to give, to create a primitive worker by the mark of our essence to fashion him. And that is where we will conclude for today, gang. Okay? That's a good place to stop. Because when we come back tomorrow, the process begins. The process to create the first primitive worker. And it wasn't easy. They made a lot of mistakes. Okay? If you want to hear about all the mistakes that they made, if you want to hear about all the mistakes that they made, tune in tomorrow. Same bat channel, same bat time, same bat time, same bat channel. Y'all done heard of Bigfoot, right? Put a one in the chat. You know who Bigfoot is, right? What if I told you Bigfoot was a failed Homo sapien? He was supposed to be a Homo sapien. He was a failed Homo sapien. Bigfoot's popping up everywhere. They know they out here. Yeah. Bigfoot is a version of the hominid that didn't go well. They had a lot of these versions that didn't work out. So for people that keep asking me, well, why did the hominid not still, we don't still see the hominid? Well, for one thing, the Great Flood wiped out a lot of them. But if you want to see what's left of hominids, then you got to look at Bigfoot. Okay? And Bigfoot is absolutely real. They done caught one. The one dude caught one. Man, I done seen so many real videos of Bigfoots. It's a crazy. All over the world. And they found them all over the world, too. So, yeah, if y'all want to hear about all the failed attempts to create a Homo sapien, you're going to like class tomorrow. Okay? You're going to get that and much more. That and much more. Big shout out to the family, gang. Big shout out to the family. Shout out to everybody that gifted it up. We 2-0. The UMF is 2-0, and we on our way to a championship. Shout out to the family, man. Give yourself a big round of applause. I appreciate the love. The time period when Anzu was executed, I want to say they were about 90,000 years in. I think it was 360,000 BC. About 360,000 BC when they executed him. But yeah, man, it's going to be a good class tomorrow, too. The information going to keep getting better. A lot of shit finna start rolling out. Guys, we ain't even got to after the creation. Okay, wait till we get to the creation and after the creation. It's crazy. It's crazy, crazy, crazy. All right? If you got any other questions, if you are a class member, class members only, if you are a class member and you have any questions and I can expound, feel free to hit me up right now. Okay? If you got any questions that I can expound on, feel free to give me a holler. J2, appreciate the love, gang. And as always, if you are interested in joining the course, if you give me just a second, J2. If you are interested in joining the course, if you are interested in being a part of what we do, yeah, I'm working on some things, my love. Make sure you hit me up and message me, and I'll send you the information to do so. If you just want to show some UMF some love, if you just want to support the movement, hit us up at $UnimailFam1212. You can hit us up at $UnimailFam1212, and you can donate. You can be a donor. You can be a UMF donor. We'll reach out to you and show you some love for doing that. That's a good way. That's a good way to hang out as well. Okay. Appreciate it, Corlisa. So yeah, if you want to show some love to the movement, you can donate. You can hit us up right here at $UnimailFam1212. All right. And I think my brother J2 had a question. Destruction next to the gold mine, was that the house? Yes. Yes, it was, my bro. Exactly. That's exactly what it was, J2. Yes, it was. Okay? So yeah, we're gonna do this thing like we always do, man. We're gonna take it out with some vibes. I appreciate all the love, gang. I appreciate all the support. Y'all make it possible for me to come in here and do what it is I do. I am grateful. I am thankful for my people. Shout out to the family. Shout out to my paid course members. Shout out to the UMF, man. We're going to walk this thing on out.